Netflix's true crime drama, The Serpent, premiering Friday, may seem unbelievable, but the creators actually had to temper the bizarre real-life history of con man and serial killer Charles Sobhraj. Set in 1970s Bangkok, the series, which first aired on the BBC earlier this year, follows Dutch diplomat Herman Knippenberg, Billy Howle, as he investigates the disappearance of a pair of Dutch backpackers. His pursuit leads him to Sobhraj, Tahar Rahim, and his accomplices, including Marie-Andrée Leclerc, Jenna Coleman, and Ajay Chowdhury, Amesh Edireweera, who have been drugging, robbing and killing tourists on the so-called Hippie Trail. Real life is infuriating, because it doesn't behave in the way stories do, says writer and producer Richard Warlow, who began working on the series in 2013 alongside director Tom Shankland. He calls it a fact as stranger than fiction to the power of about 100 situation. I had to do what you always do when you're researching stories, which is do some conflations, light a fire under certain things and also, and I've never experienced this before, pedal back on some of the strangeness. Co-producer Paul Testar, who joined the development process in 2014, was tasked with accumulating research to support the storytelling. He worked closely with Knippenberg, who gave the team access to his extensive files on Sobhraj, as well as with Sobhraj's former neighbor Nadine Gires, his captive employee Dominique Renelleau, whose escape from Sobhraj is documented in the series, and Interpol's Lieutenant Colonel Sompol Suthimai. Knippenberg provided Leclerc's diary, and journalist Julie Clarke, who co-wrote On the Trail of the Serpent, with her late husband, Richard Neville, gave the production hours of taped interviews with Sobhraj. I tried to track down every single person who features in the story, or their surviving relatives if they're no longer alive, says Testar. Building that research to be as huge as possible so we could draw from it, so we could draw these tiny, fine details in the story that become really important and be truthful about them and make sure we're telling it accurately. A few of the people involved were made into composite characters for dramatic effect, one completely fictional character was added, and timelines were condensed at points. The show's dialogue is imagined too. But Testar says 80% to 90% of the series is accurate. I don't think any of it is historically untrue. It was more a case of leaving stuff out. Here Warlow and Testar discuss what's fact and what's fiction in The Serpent. The series is based on interviews with Sobhraj, just not by the producers Neville and Clarke's interviews with Sobhraj, conducted while the killer was in prison in India, were essential to the writing of The Serpent, especially since the production team didn't want to involve Sobhraj directly.